Well, greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to another rendition of the Anthony Around Town Show, the best darn talk show in Elko, Nevada. I'm your host, Anthony Crosby. This is the weekly show where we just hop online as a community and talk about some cool people, events, goings-ons, and in tonight's case, some cool animals in our community. Joining me is my partner in crime, Mr. Matthew. He is to my left. He should be your screen right. How's it going, buddy? We're actually in the same room, just so you know. We're kind of doing it a little different camera-wise tonight. I forgot his camera battery at my house, so his camera just might take a crap on us before the night's over. If so, we'll figure it out. But that's just the beauty of doing it live. You never know what's going to happen. It's so unpredictable. Anything goes, and that just gives it an era of suspense and all that sort of good stuff. But we're talking to our own cameras because we're going to be sharing a lot of information with each other tonight. So we just want to, just make sure it's a little bit more casual of a setting. But nonetheless, Matthew, even though I'm technically looking at my camera, I'm not looking at you, how are you doing, buddy? What's been going on?
I'm doing pretty well. Just hanging out, doing my day-to-days.
Doing
just
your
like
usual.
every other week.
Usual. How was your weekend, my dude?
Well, it was good. I was recovering from strep throat.
Ooh,
so
woof.
that was good. So, well, obviously strep throat wasn't good, but recovering from strep throat was
I'm
good.
glad. Do you feel like you're in recovery now?
Yeah, I'm still taking my medication. It's like a 10-day long.
Oh yeah, that's right. Is it antibiotics or what?
Yeah, they ended up giving me penicillin.
Ooh.
Yeah, it was like normally they'll give people I forget what it is. I forget the name of it, but they'll give them like
Oxy?
A different. No.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm allowed.
I don't think.
I forget. But yeah, for whatever reason they've given me penicillin. I think it's like the first time I've taken penicillin for strep throat. So.
Well, I hope you're feeling better.
And
definitely thank you for making time to be on the show tonight. Really appreciate always having you on board. I hope everybody watching this has had a good week.
Yes.
Everything's been smooth as well. If you've been sick or something going on in the same vein as Matthew, I hope you're also just on the path to recovery. Yes. You're feeling a little bit better every single day because we all want to be healthy. I think that's a common theme for not only our city, not only our state, not only our country, but really the world right now. Everybody's obviously kind of reacting and anticipating, if you will, and responding to everything going on with the coronavirus.
Yeah.
So it's really kind of an interesting time globally right now because we're kind of all dealing with issues of health. But I was thinking of something, Matthew, and maybe you can tell me this line of thinking is dumb, but I was thinking a lot about this whole coronavirus thing, and I think, usually on the show we don't talk about big stuff like this because we try to make this about Elko, local stuff, all that sort of good stuff, but we here at Anthony Around Town, we run a digital media business, if you will. We run a website. We're in that space. We're in the media space.
Yeah.
And so I just always kind of just pay attention to other media outlets out there and how people respond to them and all that sort of good stuff. Mostly just to learn and continue to grow this site, but really just to kind of see how it all works. Yeah. And it's interesting whenever something big goes down like this. If anything, I would just say, just kind of keep this in mind, you, the viewer. So when something big goes down like this and there's something common that a lot of people are talking about, what will usually tend to happen is media sites will jump on that and obviously want to make a lot of content about that thing because how this business works, you put out a blog or you put out a video or you put out a piece of content, you want people to see that because those clicks and those views add up and you keep track of those numbers and you keep track of those statistics and you use that information to sell advertising space. That's essentially how this business works. And so the more eyeballs you get, the more money that you get. Again, that's just kind of it in a nutshell. Even for us in Anthony Around Town, that's kind of how it works.
Yeah.
Which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. That's just the business model. And there's nothing wrong with sites running articles and videos and stuff about something like the coronavirus, because obviously information is very important. We need information. That's just how we educate ourselves and how we learn about different choices and precautions and steps that we need to take. All that is fine. But what we need to keep in mind is that not every site is really looking to put out accurate information. That's not their main goal sometimes. Sometimes their main goal is just to get a click. So they'll put something coronavirus in big capital letters in the title because they'll know that a lot of us will click on that, which will generate revenue for them. And that can be kind of scary because sometimes people who aren't interested in presenting facts or presenting the truth a lot of times, or quoting reliable sources, or heck, even any sources at all, are putting this stuff out there, and people are reading it and being misinformed and taking a lot of it as gospel when a lot of it just isn't true. So what I would just say in this time, as somebody in the media space, is just double check. Check the sites that you're reading, their sources. Make sure you're cross-referencing stuff. Read more than one website. Go past just the headline on different things. Trace back the content creator. What is their reputation like? Just do all that stuff. Do some good vetting, because again, there's a lot of great reputable sources out there that we need to take advantage of. But unfortunately, Matthew, there are just people who are interested in getting clicks. What do you think, man? Do you think I'm wrong? What's your...
That's like really kind of wise words, if you will. Because and I don't think it necessarily gets as much credit as it deserves, but there's that old saying, almost everybody's heard it, is that knowledge is power. And that is really, 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 like those are words to live by, honestly. But having correct knowledge, having good, well-informed, accurate information like you were talking about, because unfortunately a lot of there's probably a lot more places that on the internet that give misinformation than there are that do give well-educated information. And it is unfortunate, because then it brings up, like, misinformation can bring up a lot of bad stuff, right? It can bring up like hysteria. And hysteria is not
true.
Good. Hysteria is bad. It can bring up...
I read it, somebody called it alarmism. I like that word. Alarmism.
Just something where, it kind of... It just generates not good behaviors, right?
Sure.
Being calm, being well-informed, knowing what's going on, that's good behaviors. That's good things, because good things come out of that stuff, right? So, it helps to... get rid of just bad, hatred for something, right? If you're well informed, that'll help you of both sides. If it is something of like opposing, views, be well informed of both sides. That'll give you correct perspective. That'll give you the pros and cons of, both sides. Or, if it's just a topic of, like the coronavirus, for example, it'll give you the correct means of being prepared, right?
Sure.
It'll give you the correct perspective of, okay, this is something that we need to watch out for, but this or that, play a part into it. And so, if it is something where you want to be, really well prepared, it's, being prepared isn't just going out and buying a bunch of stuff. Right?
Toilet paper.
I kind of... I'm sorry if I'm calling you out here.
This is real talk right now. He's throwing
talk.
It down. Let's
being
go.
Well prepared also means being well informed.
Yes.
Of
Preach. Amen.
Right?
I love that.
So just like Anthony was saying, find reputable sources. Don't go to places that, tweak information or, like just that don't hold true to what that actual information is, right? And intentionally or not intentionally, like find places that will kind of call themselves out and be accountable to themselves, right? Like I've seen like YouTube channels and really like mad respect for them because they'll do YouTube episodes of like, oh, hey guys, we were wrong here,
Sure.
or this wasn't clarified well enough, or the person on the YouTube channel was like, I had said this when in reality it was this, and so just places, like I said, mad respect, because those are the people that hold themselves accountable. Those are the people that have a good heart, a good mindset, good intentions to spread knowledge, because those people understand that knowledge is power, and so. That's my rant.
Ooh, I love it. You were dropping some heat. I liked it, Mike, dude. That was awesome.
I mean, you too, man.
No, it's true, because, like, again, being in this space, so, like, for example, when I put together a blog every single week, on the back end of my webpage hosting site specifically, they'll ask for things like certain keywords or certain buzzwords that you can include in your article or in the title of your article, or different things you can include for search. What's it called? It's called search engine optimization. So you're basically trying to put in the words that people are talking about, Googling, looking up, so that way your content pops up and gets the most eyeballs. That's how it works. So again, it's really tempting just to put in, what's the hot word right now? Coronavirus, election, wildfire, all this stuff, and not even really doing your due diligence and properly representing that information. You're just doing it because you just want to get clicks. And and in some small cases, if you're out of town, we're nobodies. We ain't anything here. We're not like some big news conglomerate. We're not even anything. But I get that temptation, because you do want people to read and watch your content. Like, that temptation, even for me on a weekly basis, is there. For example, we didn't have a Small Business Friday feature come out on Friday because I had it all ready to go. It was typed up. The draft was done. We sent it to Nay, our editor. She approved it, got it all cleaned up for us. It was all polished, added the pictures, did all the back end stuff for, again, search engine stuff, and just ready really just to hit publish and get it up there. It was all set. But then I got an email from somebody saying, hey, basically, if you want to talk to me and get a little bit more information and get have like don't want to give it away, like a more creditable, not credible, just have somebody who
better insight.
Yeah, better insight. Somebody, well, you'll see on Wednesday, but somebody who we were able to get to talk to about an upcoming blog was like, ooh, we could talk to this person and get their information. Yeah. So what we did is we hit pause on Friday's blog and we pushed it to Wednesday. That's going to come out. And that was honestly, I'm just being straight up, that was kind of hard, because I was like, we're going to miss out on a whole day, Friday, of views and traffic and stuff like that by not having a blog come out. And I was like, let's just put it out there anyways, and then maybe we could do a part 2 next week, or we'll just kind of, ignore the email. But I'm like, no, that's just not right. If we have an opportunity to get strong quality information, then our readers, the people of this community, they deserve us. They deserve to have us do the best work that we can for them, because ultimately we're here to serve you guys. Any other business can talk about themselves. We here at Anthony Around Town, we're here to serve you. And so I had to push aside that. So yeah, we didn't have not a lot, but we still get good traffic because we still put out pretty good stuff. So we do all right. We do all right. But we didn't have as much as we usually do on Fridays when we have a new feature come out, for example. And I just had to be okay with that, because, we're going to do our work and we're going to do our due diligence for the site that we're stewarding, and we're going to give the people the best. So, anyways, long 14-minute conversation about media and all that stuff. But I just thought, it might be appropriate. So, sorry, didn't mean to get into all that, but
real quick, Anthony.
Yeah.
I'll give you some numbers.
They can't see it because of the split thing. So let me come into your frame. Can you see it now? No, there you go. There's my fist. Yeah, all right.
That is major props.
Yeah.
It's it really kind of. I think it proves. It's one of those things that just kind of proves that. We say it backs up what we say, right? So we say that every story matters, right?
Sure.
Whether it's the big executive or if it's the guy that volunteers, like the youth that volunteers to rake your leaves, the people that you do like a home and car wash kind of stuff. it backs up the words that, whether whoever it is, right, their story matters, and not just a fabricated story of theirs, right? Not a tweaked story of theirs. That their story, in and of itself, has legitimacy to it, and that it does matter. So,
Boom.
dude, yeah, respect, man.
Thanks, brother. And that's, welcome. We haven't really officially even started the show yet, but welcome.
Sorry.
So no, I don't think we need to apologize. That was really good. Thank you all for walking with us through that. But now what we need to do is we need to give some love to our awesome sponsors. So I'm going to switch over my cameras and pull up our first sponsor. This is, you can see on the graphic, NV Off-Road, located at 1430 Stitzel Road, Suite A. That's 1430 Stitzel Road, Suite A. We love NV because the studio that we're kind of functioning out of right now is provided by, made possible by Justin and his crew here at NV Off-Road. So we always got to give them some love. Otherwise, we'd be doing this in the street somewhere, and the quality would be pretty bad. So if you're not sure what NV is all about, motocross bikes, four-wheelers, side-by-sides, snowmobiles. If you have a power sports vehicle and it needs some TLC or just needs somebody with some real knowledge to help you make sure it stays maintained, or needs a part, or you just need to know what trails to go hit, then you just come down here and you just talk to Justin and the boys here at NV Off-Road, and they'll make sure they take care of you. For clarification, they don't necessarily sell power sports vehicles here. They just help make sure you spend less time in the garage and more time partying on the slopes, in the hills, on the dunes, wherever it is that you like to take part of the action. So that's NV Off-Road, located at 1430 Stitzel Road, Suite A. That's 1430 Stitzel Road, Suite A. All right, also got to give some love to another one of our primary sponsors, Remax Gold, the Jesse James team. I was thinking today, Matthew, you're not in the shot, but I think we can still hear you.
Hopefully.
It's springtime's actually next week. I forgot to include that in the video that we're gonna tease a little bit later. But yeah, springtime is next week, so people are going outside. People are going to the parks. Subtleties about an upcoming project. People are doing all that kind of warm weather type stuff. I actually think it's next Thursday is spring. Pretty cool. So you know what's cool to do in the spring is to do a little house shopping. Maybe the weather's warm, optimal time to make a move. You're in your new place by summertime. You're hosting barbecues. Kids are playing the sprinklers. Late nights on the deck with a nice drink, looking at the stars. I mean, you have all that in your horizon. That just made that sound really nice. I just pulled that out of my head. That sounds really nice. But it could be you at your new dream home. All you have to do is give somebody with knowledge and a good personality, and somebody who actually really cares about helping you find your next forever home. And that person definitely is Jessie James and her team over at Remax Gold. So if you're in the hunt for like a good realtor or somebody just to guide you along, I know there's a lot of options in Elko, both realtor-wise and house-wise. A lot of houses on the market. I think last week we looked it up. There's like 280-something or something like that. I don't know. But anyways, I'm just going to make it easy for you and just say go check out Jessie and her team. The phone number is 775-777-5220. That's 775-777-5220. Or you could go stop by their office at 490 Idaho Street here in Elko. That's 490 Idaho Street. So very thankful to both our sponsors because without them, we would be in trouble. Well, not in trouble. We would be...
we'd be back in the kitchen.
We'd be doing this out of my kitchen. Let's just be real. It would still be cool. We made it work last night. I mean, yeah, we're still going to do it. But now we're able to do it in our sweet studio. We're able to talk about some awesome content that came out last week through our site. So as I already said, we didn't have an article come out on Friday because we wanted to make that the best as possible. So we pushed that to Wednesday. Thursday, Matthew, I haven't followed up with you about this. We had a new podcast come out. That podcast, why don't you tell us who that podcast was about?
That one was me and Elizabeth.
Yeah.
Okay. So we filmed this
a while ago. Yeah, it was a little bit.
We filmed this like two and a half weeks ago.
Yeah. People sometimes think we record stuff like the day of. We record stuff well in advance because there's only two of us. And like, I mean,
Yeah.
really, when it comes to like the editing stuff and the uploading and all that
Oh,
stuff, it's really just me. So I have to do it when I can. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, well, stuff has to wait sometimes. But we finally were able to put out Elizabeth's podcast. So why don't you break down just a little bit about what the people can? Excuse me.
Because I'm starting to remember last Monday we were going over this, and we were going over. I don't think I had spoiled the questions, but
Okay.
we went over the fact that we went over some couples questions. So essentially, some of the things that I would know about her and some of the things.
Yeah, we did a little like couples game.
Wasn't necessarily competitive, but I think. Just kidding. It was fun. I think I was talking about it Monday too. Was that it was just one really thing that I just saw really cool was that I was able to bring her, being my girlfriend, and everything. I was able to bring her into something that I enjoy doing, something that I find really cool, and that we were able to kind of do that together. So
yeah, it was fun.
It was definitely fun. We had a good time. I mean, go check it out. Like I said, it's maybe you can ask your significant others if you guys have them. Ask them those questions. See which ones you know.
That would be pretty interesting.
See which ones they know too. Yeah.
That would be pretty interesting. So that podcast is out wherever you get your podcast from. So iTunes, Spotify, Google, our host site, Anchor, whatever it is, you can go check that out. But what we're going to spend most of the time talking about is the fact that we put out a new blog out last Wednesday on the site. And this was a conversation I had with a couple really cool gentlemen here in our community, Efren and Sergio. They're actually part of a business organization called Benavides Bucking Bulls. So this was a fun conversation to have for a couple different reasons. Number one, and I'll just pull it up now. Sorry, Matthew, you have to go away again. You can see in this graphic right here, the guys are actually putting on a pretty sweet bull riding event coming up in May. So May 22nd and May 23rd, they're going to have bulls come in and bull riders and all that sort of good stuff. And really all over, not just here in Elko. And basically how Sergio put it, he's like, you go to a rodeo and there's a whole bunch of other different events. But the thing you and most people wait around for the most is the bull riding, because that's the most edgy, the most dangerous, the most intense thing, right? So that's kind of usually like the headline is the bull riding. And he's just like, this event that we're putting on, Gold Rush, this is literally nothing but the main event. This is nothing but bull riding and maybe some other little stuff here and there, but it's all about the bulls. So I just want to pull this graphic up. This is all on the main site, anthonyaroundtown.com. You can just go read this blog and get more details from there. But maybe just mark your calendars. May 22nd, May 23rd, we're definitely going to be down there. I definitely want to see the boys in action and meet their animals. So that's just something I wanted to remind you of. If I can bring up the right... There we go. Sorry, guys.
So close that.
There we go. Sorry. There's so many cameras. I told Matthew before we started there's going to be a time where I messed up the cameras, and I did it. So I didn't lie. That's one thing you could say. I stuck to my word. I did mess it up. But yeah, just maybe keep that event in mind. It looks pretty darn sweet, because the reason why I was talking to the guys so much about bulls, if you didn't know, is that they are actually bull raisers. So what they do is, just as they say, they raise bulls to be ridden in rodeos and competitions and stuff like that. So they were talking to me about all the ins and outs about how to make a winner and how the whole process works and just all the in-betweens of just raising a bull. But one thing that really stood out to me, Matthew, was in the fact that they were talking about these animals, talking about these bulls, and they said maybe like 4 or 5 times that these bulls are their babies. They treat them like babies. And I was like, well, what do you mean? They're like, oh, man, Anthony, they get taken care of so well. They get pampered. They're like little dogs or cats. Sometimes we'll bring them inside and we'll give them blankets if they're cold. Sometimes we'll hand feed them. I'm like, bulls? Like these big, muscular, angry animals who are always trying to charge people down and take people's head off. Like you're treating them like a dog? Like how does that work? Like, no. Like what you see in the road. This is the guys basically. I'm summarizing what they said. What you see in the rodeos and stuff like that. That's them just trying to get a guy off their back because nobody wants somebody on their back. They're bred to get whatever's on them off. So of course they're going to be crazy, of course, because they're just trying to get the dude off or the gal off and go back to their pen. But other than that, no. Like they're like we'll treat them like little animals. They're our pets essentially. And I was just so blown away by that. I was like, that I've never would have thought of somebody talking that way about a bull. Again, a big like I would.
Cool.
Isn't that pretty sweet? I was excited to write about that in the blog because I just feel like that could be a big misconception. Like in my head, I didn't know that. Like I would never want to go up and pet a bull or feed a bull. And he actually, I think it was Sergio, showed me a picture of his son, I believe, like a little toddler, just chilling on right next to the bull or even on the back of a bull, and just hanging out with him. I was like, that's really cool. So what it did is it really just got me thinking about common misconceptions. Mm-hmm. Because I had misconceptions about the bulls. I'm sure a lot of people do. And the experts, they cleared it up. And I was like, I'm sure there's a lot of things people expect to be true. Like people expect bulls to be angry and violent all the time, 24/7. And the guy's case, like, no, that's not always the case. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull up a list of 30 of the most common misconceptions out there. And I'm just going to tell them to Matthew. Depending on time, will depend on how many we get through. But I'm just going to tell them to Matthew. Matthew, what I want you to do when you hear these descriptions, and I just want you to just tell me how you respond to hearing them. You give me if you like, oh, cool. Give me one of those. If you like, I never knew that before. Yeah. Like with the bulls. Give me, oh, cool. If it's one that's like, all right, I can see that. Just give me like, oh yeah, that's cool. Yeah. Right. But if there's one that you just don't, because again, we talked at the beginning of the stream. I'm getting this off the internet. You don't have to believe everything you read on the internet. You have to double check sometimes. Right. So if there's a fact that I read that you're just like, no, that 100% doesn't seem right, I think it actually is wrong, just say that's a bunch of bull to kind of fit in.
Right, so that's a bunch of bull.
That's a bunch of bull. So give me a give me a meh, or give me that's a bunch of bull. Okay, are you ready? All right. So the first one I'm going to read. Toilet seats are full of germs. It's one of the most common misconceptions that the seats of a toilet are full of germs. After all, the bathroom is hardly the most sanitary place. But a study conducted by the University of Arizona found them to, in fact, be relatively clean, thanks to the fact that they are often disinfected or washed. In fact, they were found to have 10 times fewer germs than cell phones. So I guess the headline is, the misconceptions is that toilet seats are dirty, when in fact they're really clean. What do you think about that?
I can see that. Just because I get that, we go to bathrooms and stuff to kind of get rid of waste, to clean up, and that's kind of where that, that dirt has like a place to build up. But at the same time, kind of like that article was saying, was, that they tend to get cleaned a lot. Honestly, I'd even say deep clean. Also, when I do clean the bathroom, it is always a deep clean. It's not a spot clean. I don't just sweep up and call it good, because I don't know. That's just not right to me. So I can get it. I'll give it a nice O.
Oh, so that's the middle. Okay. Let me get your point on this. So, misconception: the Earth orbits around the sun. Actually, the Earth does not orbit around the sun. Before you think we are some kind of flat Earth conspiracy theorists, let's explain. Technically, okay. You want to hear it? Okay, were you getting nervous for a second? Okay, you getting nervous for a second. I can tell. I can feel the tension in the room. Okay, here's what they have to say. Technically, what is going on is that the Earth, Sun, and all the planets are orbiting around the center of mass of the solar system. The center of mass of our solar system is very close to the Sun itself, but not exactly at the Sun's center. So, Matthew, what do you think about that misconception? The Earth does not officially, technically revolve around the Sun.
That is something that So as long as that information is true, we definitely have to double check
Sure.
it. I would not have known that. I would have immediately thought that the sun itself was just like the object with the most mass in our solar system.
Right.
But I mean, the fact that a black hole is very, very, very small object, and the mass on that is just incomprehensible. Stuff like that. I can imagine that the sun would be so close to that object
Okay.
that it's like it's like right next to it, orbiting that.
Mm-hmm.
So, like I said, as long as we would definitely have to look into that and see
Yeah,
where
yeah.
those
I was
sources come from.
I was kind of interested in seeing that too.
That's actually really interesting.
Yeah, I never know.
That's something that you definitely don't think about. It's something that you just kind of, oh, hey, center is up middle.
Mm-hmm.
But being like truly at the middle, like everything revolving around the sun,
Sure.
instead of the sun and
Yeah.
everything revolving around a singular point.
Mm-hmm.
That's there. I mean, it honestly it doesn't matter at the end of the day. I don't think. I think we'll all go to our day-to-day lives just fine without knowing that. But it's cool. So,
yeah, I was shocked to know
I like
that because I always thought the center of the universe revolved around me.
Oh,
So
don't-
guess it's
I-
mine.
I
It's
get
it's
it.
it's
I get
it's
that.
gravitational mass near me. Okay,
Yeah.
sure. Misconception: coffee comes from beans. Misconception: why wouldn't it? You buy pounds of beans at the store, and a major coffee chain is named Coffee Bean. Never heard of it, but I guess it is. But the name doesn't actually make sense, since coffee, in fact, comes from the pit inside of the coffee fruit. If we were being accurate, they would be more accurately called coffee seeds.
And I think that's definitely something to chalk up to, you learn something new every day kind of thing. Once again, all this preface with checking and
Sure.
and making sure. But that is something where I can see
I
it
can
being
see it.
truthful information. I mean, for instance, a tomato's a fruit. Like,
Sure, yeah.
come
We've heard
on,
that. We've heard that.
nobody wants a tomato to be a fruit. I don't think it's a fruit, but at the end of the day, science is science, and I'm willing to admit that I'm wrong. That tomatoes, not a fruit, But so that's something. It's cool because learning is good. I like learning.
Learning is knowledge. Learning is power. The
Mhm.
more you learn,
Knowledge is power.
knowledge is power. That's what I was trying to say.
Cool.
All right, let's do one more, and then let's read another ad. Sugar, this is the misconception, sugar can be as addictive as heroin. Some brain imaging studies have found that sugar activates similar parts of the brain as found in seriously addictive drugs, like heroin. But somebody's name who's really hard to read, so I'm not even going to try, a behavioral therapist explains that in neuroimaging, there's no clear-cut sign of addiction. Just because part of the brain is activated doesn't mean that person is experiencing the actual addictive to a substance behaviors.
Yeah.
Okay? Because I have heard this, and I felt this because those times, Mike and Ike's are my favorite candy, by the way. So there was a time where I must have eaten a box of Mike and Ike's every single night before bed for like a year straight. How I'm not diabetic, I have no idea. But it's true. So I feel like I've maybe experienced that, and I've heard that before, but apparently, Matthew, this is according to, I'll try reading his name, according to Hisham Zadudin. That's not true. Hisham Zadudin.
I think what we'd have to do to really kind of break down and analyze this one, I think we'd have to kind of separate, and I could be wrong in this, but I think we'd have to think of addiction in a different light. I think a lot of times it's just assumed, oh, addiction, bad behaviors, bad stuff comes out of it. Like, and yeah, that's true. But I don't think it would be correct to measure addictiveness based off of the outcome of what comes when you're without that, right? So, for instance, somebody who's addicted to heroin, they cut it off and they start to go through withdrawals, I don't think it would be correct to measure addictiveness with other objects as what the symptoms would be of withdrawal. So if that makes sense, to kind of break it down further, I can definitely imagine addictiveness to sugar, honestly, even to other stuff such as social media and phones and stuff like that. I can imagine that those could get to a point. I don't think they necessarily are, but I think they could get to a point where they're just as addictive as hardcore drugs, as heroin, specifically because our data, it's just being so habitually tied to, or like, being like having those things at our disposal, and having them as important as they are in our lives. That's kind of what it's hard, because it's hard to measure what addictiveness is.
I'm going to be honest, I did not listen to half of that, what you just said, because I found one that actually super surprised me that I could have swore was true, but according to this list, it's a misconception. So I'm going to let that be a tease. So when I finish talking about one of our awesome sponsors, we'll see what got me so distracted. But before we do that, I'm going to, again, bring up one of our awesome sponsors, and that would be Elise O'Brien over at Heartwood Wellness. We talk about her and her business all the time. We're always sharing the videos that she puts out over on her Facebook page. So if you haven't already, just maybe scroll down here on our Facebook page and check one of those videos out. They kind of walk in detail and describe what Elise does. But what I've noticed, looking back at these streams, is that I haven't actually given you guys her address or any of her contact information. So I'm just going to say, if you want to get a hold of Elise, you can reach her at 775-275-0322. That's 775-275-0322. Or you could go see her right downtown in Elko, in the Blooms building down over on the corner of Idaho Street at 595 Idaho Street, Suite 208. That's 495 Idaho Street, Suite 208. That's 495 Idaho Street, 208. To kind of sum up what she does, just in case you missed it, she helps people feel better. She does a lot of practices and a lot of different treatments and a lot of different, what's the best word? I don't know. She just does a really good job of making sure that your mind, body, and spirit are living up to its full health and wellness, hence the name Heartwood Wellness. So go check out Elise again at 495 Idaho Street, 208, or you call her at 775-275-0322. All right, let's see if I get the cameras right first try. So get rid of this, bring back Matthew. Boom, did it, first try. Guys, we need a producer to do all this stuff for us, so I don't have to worry about this, but we don't have one yet. So I'm on camera talent and producer. Wear many hats. That's why I always wear a hat here on the stream. But I got it right, so that's good. Matthew, let me read this. I teased it, so let me tell you. Misconception. Salty water boils faster. Every pasta recipe calls for a similar step. Toss salt into a pot of boiling water. Many believe that the reason for doing this is because it will encourage the water to boil faster. In fact, it has been found in experience to make a slight difference, but some other weird names says you would really have to put a lot of salt in there to make a significant difference. Matthew, I'm angry because I feel like I wasted a lot of time salting water according to this thing for no gosh darn reason. I mean, it makes a slight difference, but whoop-de-doo. I thought it would shave off at least, let's see, how long does it take water to boil? I don't know, let's say it takes 10 minutes. I thought it'd shave at least 5 minutes off my boiling time. Throw in the noodles, put in the sauce, I'm good to go. I saved myself a good amount of time I'm on with my day, but according to this study, useless. I'm wasting my time. I'm wasting my precious pink Himalayan sea salt for no reason. Matthew, I'm calling bull just because I'm annoyed that I didn't know that. What say you, my man?
You're really that offended?
That one got me. That's why I said I stopped listening to you halfway through your last answer because I was like, no way. That is So I believe that's true. I feel like some
I'm not sure if
some grandma is rolling over her in her grave listening to that. I feel like that's not true.
I'm not sure if I read that somewhere.
What?
I kind of just salt my water when I'm cooking noodles.
Okay.
Just because that's what people do.
Well,
so
yeah.
in this particular instance, my ignorance kind of, I guess, helped me out.
So you hadn't like officially heard that it helps the water boil faster? That was just me?
I might have heard it once or twice, but that is not information that I retained.
Okay. See, I feel like I was raised, like it would have been like, water is wet, the seasons come in winter, spring, fall, summer, death is inevitable, and the fourth thing on that list that goes without a shadow of a doubt is you put salt in your water if you want it to boil faster. I could have sworn I would have put every dollar I have in the bank, and I don't have a lot. My friends over at Greater Nevada Credit Union know that. But still, I would have put it all on the line if you would have asked me, Anthony, does salt make water boil faster? So I'm perplexed. I am beside myself.
I get it.
I am not going to be able to sleep at night. I just, man, Elaine Castle just shakes her head and says, you two are something else. We are something else, Elaine. We're a couple of noobs, I guess. I don't know. Anyways, thank you to the guys at Benavides Bucking Bulls for letting us interview them, learn about bulls, learning about just, some of the truth and reality of raising bulls and kind of talking about some of the misconceptions you guys face as bull raisers and bull riders and all that sort of good stuff. So if you haven't already, go and check out the article over on AnthonyAroundTown.com. And then remember, keep in mind their event coming up, Gold Rush, this May 22nd and 23rd. It seems like it's going to be a lot of fun. Common misconception, Matthew, is that we don't have a new video coming out this week, that we just don't know how to do our jobs and we're not prepared. Matthew, is that reality or is that a big misconception?
I'm going to go ahead and say that's real bull.
That's bull, yeah. We are prepared, we are on it, and we have a new YouTube video coming out for you this week, along with, got it, third time's the charm, along with a new blog coming out this Wednesday. I kind of talked about at the beginning of the show, the one that we pushed off from last Friday. That'll be out Wednesday. And then we'll have another new one Friday. Very excited about that one for a couple reasons, but I'll keep that close to the vest. So check out our blogs coming out Wednesday and Friday. Yes. But Matthew, we do have a new video coming up. Yes, and I'll set this one up because you talked about somebody who is in the podcast who's near and dear to your heart. There's two people appearing in this video this week that are very, very near and dear to my heart. And I'll just tell you, they're my daughters. I don't have to tease them because they're amazing. They're beautiful. They are the light in my eye. I was going to say they are the salt in my water pot, but apparently that means nothing. So I'm not going to call them that because the daughters are definitely more than pointless, which apparently putting salt in water is. So anyways, I digress.
You're pretty salty.
Oh, yes, thank you. He'll be here all week, guys.
I knew I could.
Good. You were waiting all night. But yeah, it's just the first time they're going to be in a video with me. Actually, not just a video, first time I've ever put them in any Anthony Around Town content over the last 3 years of doing all this. So to kind of set it up, and I'm going to show you guys a tease of it in a second, but to set it up, what we decided to do, because we're all about highlighting culture here in Elko, is look at family outdoor culture. Because as I said, spring's coming up, weather's getting nice, and what do people like to do, especially if they have families around here, when the weather gets nice? They like going to one of our many public parks. And we have quite a few here in our community. So what I decided to do is take my daughters on a little excursion, if you will, to all the different parks here in Elko and just let them try them out. There's a couple twists and turns with that whole that whole journey that we took throughout these parks, but I'll say that for the video, there's an ounce of real pressure to complete that task in a certain amount of time for a very specific reason. Again, I'll let you watch the video to see what that is and to see if we actually made it happen or if we screwed ourselves. But nonetheless, we went around, we hung out at some parks, and I had a good time. I think Matthew had a good time, and my daughters definitely had a good time. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to play one clip of that video coming out, and this is our stop at one park in particular, and you can kind of get a taste of the action. So let's do it. Johnny Appleseed Park. So that was called Johnny Appleseed. How did you guys like Johnny Appleseed? What's your review?
100! Come on!
Okay, guess my questions don't matter. All right, so that was, like I said, just one clip from one of the several parks we went to throughout this video. Matthew, anything you liked? You were involved with that. You were the cameraman behind that video. So anything that I'm just, I'll just say this, behind the scenes talk. I'm just glad that you're my friend and you have real patience with kids, because you take two kids and you shoot with them for 5 hours early in the morning. They could get tired. They can get kind of grumpy. But Matthew, he didn't run away, pulling his hair out when they did. And so I definitely appreciate it. I appreciated your patience, man.
Yeah, man. It was fun. Getting up early, being productive and stuff like that. But more so getting to go out, getting to go to the parks, walk around, get some sun. As you can see in the early part of that clip, I had to go find them. So I was walking around, I was oh, this is gonna be cool. I'm gonna be able to kind of come around the corner, and there's gonna be one of them right there. There's good photo, a good video shoot, if you will. No, I was not running, but I was oh, I gotta find them soon. Because it took me 20
Yeah, they're pretty fast.
30 seconds in, and
they're
pulling up to go do different things that they wanted to do at the park. And that's where I was okay, I don't know where.
No, but yeah, they had a good time with you. They had a good time. So just check that video out Thursday. It'll be out Thursday night at 8 o'clock. YouTube, Facebook. Just make sure you stay locked into one of those pages, and you'll be able to check it out. All right, before we get out of here, just want to do one more little promotion, and that is to let you all know that Anthony Around Town is still welcoming sponsors and business partners to join the Anthony Around Town team. You heard throughout the night some of our awesome partners we already have: NV Off-Road, Remax Gold Jesse James Team, and Heartwood Wellness. But we're always looking to add more. So you can see we have a little spot right there for your business logo. So if you just want to get your business out there in a unique and engaging way, all of our views we'd love to give to you. So all you have to do, if you're interested, is email anthonyaroundtown@gmail.com. That's anthonyaroundtown@gmail.com. Just get a hold of me, and we'll talk details, maybe have a little coffee meeting, and just kind of go over all the ins and outs. And hopefully we'll be talking about you not only on this live stream, but in our blogs, in our videos, on our podcasts. Everything that we produce, you get those shout-outs, and so we'd love you to be a part of that. So that's our sponsorship program. Just wanted to remind you of that. All right, Matthew, as I bring you back on screen, anything else you need to let the people know before we get ready to get out of here?
I think it's been a good day. I hope you all have a wonderful Monday and a wonderful week as well. One big thing, and I hope you don't mind, we don't quite have the video for it
Right.
But we have gotten our Patreon set up. So I kind of just busted down and was like, all right, I'm gonna just finish up this project, get that all taken care of. So once again, for those of you that don't know what Patreon is, it's a way for the viewers and stuff to show your love, show your support to content creators, right? Whether it's people who like artists or what we do, we create like the videos, podcasts, blogs, and all that stuff. It's a way for you guys to show your love and support, and maybe you don't want to be a giant sponsor that puts forth a bunch of money, gets your ads, like ad reads and stuff like that. This is kind of a individual, personal way that you guys as a viewer can really just kind of show your support for the Anthony Around Town mission. So go check it out. It's patreon.com/Anthony Around Town. And then, check out the different tiers. We have a few things that we're going to start putting into motion to be able to do that. So, there's, the different tiers that you can do, and those different tiers come out with new things that you kind of, not necessarily, purchase your way into, but it's ways that we want to show our love and show our support to you guys by just getting you some extra content that you guys hopefully love. And so, go check it out. I hope you guys enjoy it. I hope I did well with it.
Yeah, I think you did really good. If you're still uncertain about what all that even looks like and means, it's fine. We have a video coming out probably by Friday that Matthew's going to, in the video, he breaks down all of that in more detail. And we're going to be talking about it a lot more going forward. So this is just kind of a taste, if you will, of what's to come. And you'll be hearing more about our Patreon going forward. But he did a great job, and I'm excited to really dive deep into that. All right, guys, that's going to get ready to do it for this rendition of the Anthony Around Town show. Just want to let you know, if you want to continue to follow along everything that we do here at the site, you could first do so through our social media, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. Just search Anthony Around Town. And while you're there, just give it a thumbs up. I think a big thumbs up on all of those sites would be pretty handy, so please do that. Podcasts are all found on any platform that you get your podcast from on the regular. So Anchor, Spotify, Google, iTunes. Our episodes are bi-weekly over there. So again, Matthew said the last one was him and his girlfriend having a good time. The next one, actually, we'll have the next one lined up. And something I'm pretty excited about. And that'll come out not this Thursday, but next Thursday. So just keep track of our podcast. Main site, AnthonyAroundTown.com. If you want to stay up to date and stay current and never miss any piece of content we put out, so live streams, videos, podcasts, or blogs, then what you can do is you can be part of our weekly email list. You just go to AnthonyAroundTown.com and hit stay connected, or wait for one of the little pop-up bubbles to come up, and you just give me your name and your email, and every Monday I send everybody on that email list just one email with all the links of the content that came out the week prior. So all you have to do is click on something you want to read, or click on something you want to watch, or click on something you want to listen to, and it'll take you directly to that page. And we're getting new subscribers all the time. Again, just added some people this morning, some here locally in California. California loves Anthony Around Town. We always get Californian subscribers, so that's pretty cool. But you can go be a part of that over there. If you need to get a hold of us for anything, you want to debunk one of those misconceptions and tell them, no, that really is bull. If you want to suggest somebody to be interviewed for AAT or have a video done with us or whatever, you want to become a sponsor, then just hit us up, anthonyaroundtown@gmail.com. That's anthonyaroundtown@gmail.com. All right, well, I think that's going to get ready to do it, buddy. Thank you so much for joining me for another stream. It was fun.
It always is.
It's always a good time.
Good stuff,
All right, man. Well, that's going to do it for this rendition of the Anthony Around Town show. Until next time.
Catch you later.
See you around, Delco. And you know what? I'm going to go home and I'm going to boil water with salt just because I can.
That's a